Welcome to the programming principle presentation for Master Mind Computer games presented by me, MD Ayush, and let's look at the topics I will be discussing in this presentation. So the first is input and display data. Second is lists. Third is random choice from a list. Fourth, if statements and relational and logical operators. Fifth is loops, and last but not the least is user-defined function. So let's get started. So let's start with the demonstration of the codes. So here, as we can see, the codes I have implemented in my assignment. Moving on, let's start with the presentation and demonstration of each section. So starting off with input and display. So in this program, welcome message and game guidelines will be shown once the program is run. The player will be asked if they are ready to start the game. According to their command, the program will run. So if the player inputs yes as the answer, a displaying data saying good luck, enjoy the game will appear on the screen and start the game. However, if the player inputs no as the answer, a display data saying okay, have a nice day will appear on the screen. Moving on to the lists. So I have used 4 different lists in this program. First is color list, then simplified color list, and 2 empty lists. So the color list is used to store the name of the color, and simplified color list is used to store the initials of the colors. The 2 empty lists are used to check the player's input. Moving on, random choices from a list. So I've imported a library called random, which is used to randomize the color that are stored in the list. After the 4 colors have been randomized, it will restore a variable named random color. Moving on, if statements and relational and logical operators. So start off with if statements. So in the beginning, ask the player if they are ready to start the game. So there is a confirmation we have used as a variable in this program, and if the player inputs yes as the answer, a display data saying good luck, enjoy the game will appear on the screen and start the game. However, if the player inputs no as the answer, a display data will be saying okay, have a nice day will appear on the screen. If the player, the second thing I have used is if the player guesses the 4 colors correctly, the program will congratulate him or her saying you are the mastermind. If the correct guess is not exactly 4, it will show the player how many colors he guessed correct and how many were wrong in the position. Third is if the player doesn't guess 4 colors correctly in 6 attempts. So if the player is unable to guess correct arrangements within 6 attempts, the program will ask them to try again. If the player takes 6 attempts and is still unable to guess the correct arrangement, the program will say that the game is over and redirect to the initial screen of the game. Relational operators. Here the relational operators is used to execute commands according to the user's answer. So if the player responds with a Y, the game will restart. If the player responds with an N, the game will stop. But if the player responds anything other than Y or N, the game will keep looping until the player inserts an answer. Moving on. So I have used a logical operator to check if the player has entered the valid initial. When the color is entered by the player, are not in the color list, the invalid color count will increase by 1 for every invalid input. When invalid color count is greater or equal to 1, the program will prompt a message saying that the player has inserted invalid. Moving on, loops. While loops. The while loops has been used to loop the simplified color list when the program is started or restarted. For loop is used to check if the guess by the player is same as the randomized combination. If it's same, the correct guess count will increase by 1. Last but not the least, user-defined function. The function is to ask the user if they are ready to play the game. Thanks.